This is Speaks. Today I am going to show you my book collection. Basically, it's not totally mine, but most of these books are mine, and I am the sole proprietor. Uh, the others are of my sister, and there are most of the non-fictional books, and we'll just look into it while telling you guys what books I do have and what I read and how are they generally, because there is going to be very soon a book fair in my university, so I am so excited. That was always in my video reusing list, and here we are. So without further ado, without blah blah blah, let's go into this. Okay, so the first book is the very childish, and to be honest, I spent my whole adolescence with these book series, and I loved it, and that was the only book that I would read on my own. So this is none other than Babysitting Club and Babysitter's Club. Most of the people, most of the teen girls especially, know how this book was addictive. Like, there were so much things going on in that family, and it was so nice to read about it. It was just like a treat to me while reading these series, and I have read most of the books which I had in my library, which was available to all of the kids. So that was we used to fight a lot on it, that I want that book, then whoever got it first will get issued by the librarians. So Babysitter's Club, well, this book my sister bought for me as a surprise, because I used to read series books, but this was 3 books combination novel, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And the main characters were Claudia, and she had to her family was separated, and everything she had in 2 pairs, even her glasses. So when I was a kid, I used to be so attracted from this, that she has everything in 2 pairs. So that's it about this book. This is something I got recently, like not recently, last year, and it is The Moonlight Dreamers. It is by Siobhan Kurham. So well, this was about a few friends who became friends randomly. They had most unique family backgrounds. For example, one of the girls' father were gay, and gay couple, they used to live together. So they all were from unique backgrounds. So that was the only thing that made these girls talk to each other and be friends, and they used to help out in everything, and that's how they found what they really wanted to do in their life. So I love this book because it was very nice, and there was nothing hard, just it was not like classics. It was very easy and normal. So I like this book. It was just easy go. Okay, so major part of my collection has non-fictional books. I love non-fictional books. So why I love non-fictional books more than fictional? Because they teach us more. Are short, and there are loads of lessons that you won't learn in everyday life. So that's why I love. And the next book is by Shiv Khera. He's an Indian writer, and the book name is You Can Win, and it's international bestseller. Basically, this book is about building confidence in yourself and believing yourself and etc. Most of the non-fiction books are about that. So if you are one of those people who want to self-groom themselves rather than going introvert kind of people, so these kind of books are like they are talking to someone who won't listen to them even there, and still that person is helping them. So books like this really work. There were many stories that were helpful for me to read and to see how things are going in the people's life and how they coped with it. So it was a good book. The next book is one of those books that I considered as Bibles, and I read them again and again. Whenever I need the dose of those books, it's one of those books, and it's the best book you can ever have. As a person, if you want to know or judge, or if you are part of a business studies, and you have in later you have to deal with public, and it's one of those books that will help you and it will guide you in a manner that it would put few things in your subconscious that will really work for you. I think I have underlined also in this book, so I want to read that part. The world is full of people who are grabbing and self-seeking. So the rare individual who unselfishly tries to serve others has an enormous advantage. He has little competition. Owen DeYoung, a noted lawyer and one of the America's great business leaders, once said, people who can put themselves in the place of the other, who can understand the workings of their minds, need never worry about what the future has in store for them. If you are okay, that's it. So what this book teach you is shoes. Put yourself in others' shoes. So this book is really highly referred to you guys, and I hope that you would get, if you ever get this book, please buy it. And the name of this book is How to Win Friends and Influence People, the only book you need to lead your success. And it's by Dale Carnegie. So the fourth book is, although I would not count these books because, to be honest, I have a lot of books to count them, and I am very bad at keeping counting. You guys would know this if you have seen my poster collection video. If you haven't seen, please check that out. It's also awesome and kind of revealing my secrets. So the next two books are here in this collection because I bought for someone, and I bought for my friend, but I never sent him. I don't know why. I was never able to send him, and this is Paulo Coelho's two books. So these books are really nice to read, but unfortunately I haven't got or learned any lesson from these, and kind of I expected much from Paulo Coelho because many people read his books, and it's like a brand that you say, oh, I read Paulo Coelho, but I couldn't find anything. I'm so sorry. I haven't read Alchemist, so I'm not sure that whether maybe he's someone great, and only the books I have bought are not influential. So I have to read Alchemist someday. Let's move to the next and very famous book. by Stephen R. Covey, and the book's name is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I read this book back in 2017 first, and then I read it in 2016 first, and then I read it in 2018. And the reason was it was part of my course. So it is a great book. Whoever wants to read non-fictional books, and whoever wants to groom themselves, or whoever wants to groom their kids in how they can understand their kids, how they can train them. So this book is very helpful for every person who wants to groom or who wants to make his family life better, or his life, any part of his life, any aspect of his life better. It covers it all perfectly, and I liked this book too. One of those books that are not here in this is the most influential book to me, and its name is 50 Habits of Millionaires. And that book is by Brian Tracy, and I loved his book. That was the first ever book that I've read, and I read it back in 2015. The next book is none other than, it's the fictional book, and I would have not known that I would love something that much, and then I also watched the movie. The book is, without further ado, it's The Fault in Our Stars. It's a great book by John Green, and we all know, I think 7 billion, the whole world has seen this movie, except the dads in the whole world. I don't know, my dad didn't watch it, so let's consider 7 billion minus 1 has watched this movie, and yeah, I love this book. The next book is, basically it's a series, and I only have 2 books here. There is 4-book series, and the reason I don't have the other 2 books is because I have given 2 people, and I now don't remember who I gave those books. So sad. That's only me. I can only do that. No one else can do it. Only Nasi can do this. So the first book, one of those books that I've read in a way that I'm a book reader, because I have read many books. Meanwhile, I was studying in a school because we were having a reading period every Monday before our normal routine starts. So we used to read books, and so I don't know. Apart from that, when I started reading books by my own, these books are one of those that I have selected. Literally, this book was torture for me. I used to cry a lot while reading this book, but it's a great book. It's really carving the history of Afghanistan, and I loved this book, to be honest, although it had turmoil and sadness, but I still loved this book, and I think that everyone should read it at least once, just to know that what happens in Afghanistan and how those people are going through, and everything. Obviously I haven't gone to Afghanistan by my own, and still, if you are having a chance to read about these things through books, you should. So A Thousand Spanish Sun by Khalid Hosseini. It's the first book. The second book was The Kite Runner, and the third book is In the Mountains Echoed. The fourth book is Sea Prayer. So these are the four books that I have, but I don't have right now. Two of them because I have given to my friends. Let's move to the other one. This is Aleph Shafak. So the 40 Rules of Love. This book is based on Islamic stuff, and it's really nice to read such books. I loved it, and every single person who read this book loved it eternally. This is one of those things that if you haven't read, should buy it. It's worth buying, and yeah, basically I didn't spend my money on things I really don't want. So everything is in this room, in this bag, on this bag is something I would ever give to anyone. So the next book is the very nice book, and it's like the Bible to me, but it's like a peaceful thing. Like it's one of those things that you would read under the tree and seeing people and kids playing. It's one of those books, and it's the Big Red Book by Rumi. So you all know Rumi, and I don't have to tell you how great Rumi has written his books, and obviously it's the translation because I didn't know Farsi. So the translation is by Coleman Barthes. So thanks Coleman Barthes for translating to us, to people who cannot understand Farsi. Yeah. The next book is one of my favorites, and I love it, and I really enjoyed reading it. It's I would say it's non-fictional, but it's also the way this is written is none less than fictional. In the Line of Fire. Let me show you guys. This is by our ex-president and Journal Pervez Musharraf. And to be honest, there was nothing too unlike about this book, and it's really untold. There were many untold stories, and you will find those stories in it. I also have a Urdu version of it, Urdu, and yeah, I love this book, and I can read it again, and it was really helpful in paper of bureaucracy. Because all of a sudden our sir decided to give us questions that he said he won't, and he won't be including that topic into the assignment and into the paper, final paper, and somehow he was like, yay, I'm going to give you. So this book saved me. Although I wrote opposite to that because as per the Pakistan history, according to the book that he had given us, was opposing the, obviously this is a democratic country, so that book was like that Pakistan is not developed economically just because there were people, bureaucracy was interfering in the government section, and that's why that is one of those things that has disrupted Pakistan. Anyway, so I kind of knew people's name through this book and just wrote it. Anyways, the next book is this one. Okay, this book is The Embattled Innocence Reflections of a Muslim Relief Worker. Okay, this book is based on an NGO experience of a Muslim worker, and again, I read it in one night. It was a pleasure book, but it was really saddening how things were bad at where he was, because I read it a few years back and I don't remember it now. So when I read it, I remember I cried at one point, so it's a good book. If I cry, it means that book is worth of money, because I didn't really cry. So, well, this book is by Salman Ahmed, and if you guys do know that I'm also a social activist, and somehow this book played a big role. Okay, one row is done. Let's get to the second row, and this row is of the books that I haven't read by now. Why I didn't read? I want to explain myself. I didn't get time in last 2 years. I was so busy in society work and in internship and part-time jobs, busy. So I couldn't get time to read these books, and most of the reason is that I was more into movies, and this year I am so hyped up to read these books. These are going to have honor to be read by me. Anyways, let's get into this. The first book is 0 to 1. It's a great book. Whenever I buy some books, I always read about them and on the net, and then I buy them. So this is one of those. And on this book, it's written Notes on Startups or How to Build the Future. It's by Peter Thiel and with Blake Masters. And this book was quoted in the Times that says that we think a concise, thought-provoking book on entrepreneurship. So, okay, that's the first book I'm going to read. It has honors of Mark Zuckerberg and Nassim Nicholas Taleb. So, Taleb, whatever. The next book is Bill Gates, The Road Ahead. I bought this book because I love Bill Gates since I was a kid, and I used to think of being a programmer, but I didn't. The next book is I'm Tired of Sitting, so I'm staying here. Yeah. The next book that I have to read is The Compound Effect. It says that jumpstart your income, your life, your success. Publisher of Success Magazine, and the book is by Darren Hardy. Let's see who has read it. Mark Victor Hansen, Donnie Dodge, T. Harv Eker, Kate Ferrazzi, let's pronounce it Ferrazzi, okay? Don Hudson, and it says no gimmicks, no hyperbole, no magic bullet. The compound effect is based on the principle that decisions shape your destiny. I can believe it. Little everyday decisions will take you either to the life you desire or to disaster by the default. Says honestly. Okay. Darren Hardy, publisher and editorial director of Success Magazine, oh my god, presents The Compound Effect, a distillation of fundamental principles that have guided the most phenomenal achievements in business relationships and beyond. I'm going to read this. The third book is not bought by me, it's by my sister, and she hasn't read it too. So, haha, to both of us. So this book is Why Men Marry Bitches. I have no idea why they do that. How do men manipulate a relationship to keep it casual? Do men deliberately push women's emotional buttons? And how can she convince him commitment was his idea? This is so funny what it says. How can she convince him commitment was his idea? Like, how can she invite a proposal without saying a word? Woman, what you guys are doing? That's not us. We don't do that in my bed. I'll read it because basically I won't read it. Because it's, to be honest, primarily it's not mine. Okay, so I have disaster. I have full right of not reading it. I have full choice of not reading it. Whatever you guys can say. Wait a sec. So the next book is Good Manners for Nice People who sometimes say. Okay, Amy Alcon. It's by Amy Alcon. What this book says is a lot. I don't want to read that much, but there are a few things. Who do many people, especially those under 40, now find spontaneous phone calls rude? What can you take to your mailbox to stop dog walkers from letting their post violate your lawn? How do you shut up the guy in the pharmacy line with his cell phone on speaker? I like it. I just want to be more rude. That much that I am is not enough for this world. So I want myself to be more rude. That's why I bought this book. And let's see how it goes. I am highly, highly, highly motivated to read this book. Okay, let's get to the website. And the next book that I haven't read yet is The Whisper. It's by Donato Carisi. Okay, I think there is a movie now on this because this book is very old. Okay, and second thing is, this is my sister's book and she has read it, but I haven't, and I like it. And I think it's a good book because I have seen The Whisperer and it was very confusing because I was a child at that time. The next book that I really want to read, although I have started reading it, but then it was so long and I had so much to do in my life at that time, so I couldn't read this book fully, and but I really want to read this book because I have read many good comments about this book. So yeah, this is in my list. And the next book is, its name is Abundance. The future is better than you think. So it's a highly motivating book, and I would really want to read it. This book is also a fictional but inspirational book, and what the book says is, open your eyes and see what you can with them before they close forever. So yeah, this is New York best sellers, and all the light we cannot see is its name. It's by Anthony Doerr. I am enthusiastic to read these books, and I don't know why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there are 7 books that I have to read. As I'm tired now, I have finally sat down. So the next one is Workers. It is inside from the inside of Google. This book was gifted by my uncle, who is also my best friend, and this book is by Laszlo Bach. And why I selected this book was because it is signifying the characteristics of a person, and so basically, as I said, it's a book based on how people coordinate with each other and how they solve problems as one team. Workers is one of those books that everyone should read. Let's put it here. Okay. So the next book is Reflections of Man. It's by Mr. Amari Zoes. There is also Reflection of a Man too, and well, this is a real copy of that book. It's about everything a man and a woman should understand about each other, and it's a really great book, and basically it also teaches a man, because men are not emotionally intelligent as much as a woman. Mostly their code of ethics are by research are not greater than women, and so this book is basically for the man to know what and how to treat their better half, how they should treat their better half. So this book tells everything about it beautifully. I loved it. I read it in one day. I think I read it in a few hours, not in one day, because it was so quick. The things were written so easy, and yeah, I read it. The next book is by Malcolm Gladwell, and it's The Tipping Point. This book is basically about that little things that matter and how they play a major part in anything, and how they can create big changes. So, as they have said, tipping point, that magic moment when ideas, trends, and social behavior cross a threshold, tip and spread like wildfire. Taking a look behind the surface of many familiar occurrences in our everyday world, Gladwell explains the fascinating social dynamics that cause rapid change. So I haven't completely read it, so I have to complete this book too. The next book is Rework. Now this is one of those books that we say are changing the whole vision of the earlier centuries people and how they used to work, and this book is something every boss, every person who is going to lead an organization, who is leading an organization, should read it. And says, ignore this book at your peril. So that was the appealing and attractive thing, and the factor I bought this book. And to be honest, I enjoyed this book. I read this book in last Ramadan, and the fun memory is I read it with my uncle, that one that who gave me work rules, and he's my best friend too. So that's the memory I have with this book, and I love it. The next book is The Da Vinci Code, and I really don't have to give any reference, anything about this book. This is by the Dan Brown, and if you haven't read this book, again, it's one of those books that is, if you are into mysteries, this is one of the best thrillers you can ever have in your life, I think. and I love it. Yeah. The next book is the next three books are also one of the best books, but two of them are like two parts of my brain, and literally it would be an honor to meet these writers, these people. It's just like they have taught me a lot without knowing me. So let's talk about first the Jack Welch. His book name is The Wedding. He wrote with Susie Welch. How much I love this book. It's not binders anymore, and it's the real copy, real book. Wedding taught me a lot. It was like a game changer for me. It gave me such a line about what I have to do, how I have to do, what to do, what not to do. So it's everything. For example, I love this book. So the last book is The Rich Dad and Poor Dad. I read this book online, but when I found it, I bought it. So this book is about two kids who grown up with each other, had very different backgrounds, and the thing was that the other kid who was poor and the kid who was rich were best friends, and the rich kid had rich father and the poor kid had poor father. So the poor kid is Robert Kowalski. Robert Kowalski believed that reading and studying to that extent without anything to gain from it is useless, and you should only get such kind of teachings and studies that can help you in your future, in building your future, because it's your time that is going to be wasted. So hats off to this guy. I learned a lot from this guy because he's my rich dad. He doesn't know that. So I love these books. I wanted to say thank you to you all who watched my video till the end. I know this is the longest video, I think. Bye for now. And I'm sorry I haven't uploaded last time because I was having my Bible, and I really want to have a video on that topic too. So without further ado, I want to say you bye bye and take care of your families, because there is COVID, and one of those people who think that you cannot be an avid reader, trust me, I was never a good reader. I used to read books, but I would not consider myself as an avid reader, but now surely I am. And if you want to develop a skill, there's no one other than yourself that would just stop you. So to be very honest, you are the first person who is stopping you to do anything. Thank you guys whoever supports me and who subscribes me, and I really appreciate your support. And do comment if you want something funny, if you want something new from my side, and I'll try to do it if it's up to my personality. Obviously, thank you. Bye.